Hitler didn't just wage war with bullets, he waged it with gold, art, and secrets buried deep beneath Europe. But when his empire crumbled in 1945, not everything was destroyed. Some of it vanished. And what disappeared wasn't just treasure. It was a trail of silence, sealed tunnels, and one final Nazi game of deception. To follow it, we don't start in a museum or battlefield. We start underground. As World War II drew to its dramatic close in April 1945, Nazi Germany was collapsing under Allied pressure. But while battles were ending, another mission had just begun. One not fought with guns or tanks, but with whispers, maps, and missing millions. American forces swept into the tiny village of Merkers in central Germany. The locals spoke quietly of a nearby salt mine named Kaiserode, where something strange had been happening. Nights filled with echoing clinks of metal deep underground. Something was being hidden, and fast. The U.S. Counterintelligence Corps decided to investigate. What they found inside would stun even the highest ranks of Allied command. Hidden behind locked doors and booby traps, the Merkers mine revealed a staggering hoard of more than 100 tons of gold, 8,000 gold bars, sacks of foreign currency, platinum, diamonds, art, even gold teeth, wedding rings, and personal effects stripped from concentration camp victims. It was wealth beyond imagination, valued at $250 million then, several billion dollars today. So monumental was the find that Generals Eisenhower, Patton, and Bradley came personally to inspect it. But here's the real twist. This wasn't even half of what the Nazis had looted. They had stolen over $600 million worth of treasure from across Europe, which means more than $350 million vanished, never officially recovered, never explained, gone. And that's when the legend began to grow. Austria, spring of 1945. Deep in the Alta Sea salt mines, another secret was waiting. But this time it wasn't gold, it was art. Thousands of paintings, sculptures, and cultural treasures had been smuggled there. Michelangelo's Madonna of Bruges, Van Eyck's Ghent altarpiece, and stolen private collections from Jewish families across Europe. Hitler had a grand plan to build the Führer Museum, the world's largest art museum in Linz, Austria. These works were to be its crown jewels. But as defeat became inevitable, Nazi commanders wired the mine with explosives set to destroy all of it rather than let it fall into Allied hands. Then, something extraordinary happened. A handful of Austrian miners, ordinary men, risked everything. Working in secret and aided by Nazi officials trying to save their own skins, they removed the explosives just days before the U.S. troops arrived. The priceless artworks were saved. Yet this sense of secrecy, of treasure buried and nearly destroyed, only deepened the mystery. If this was what had been found, what else had been hidden? Which leads us to the biggest mystery of all. A Nazi train, packed with gold and jewels, but simply vanished into the earth, and no one has ever found it. Legend has it that in 1945, as Soviet troops closed in, a heavily guarded Nazi train rolled into the mountain of southwest Poland and disappeared. Some say it was buried in a secret tunnel in the Owl Mountains. Others believe it was sealed inside the Reese underground complex. Local whispers of strange rumblings of soldiers who never returned. In 2015, news exploded. Ground-penetrating radar had found something, a long metallic shape deep underground near the town of Waldbridge. Could this be the Nazi gold train? Excavations began, cameras rolled, historians speculated. The world held its breath, and then nothing. No train, no gold, just empty soil and frustrated silence. But was it really a dead end or a clever cover-up? Could the train still be there, deeper or hidden better than anyone guessed? Could the real treasure lie not in gold, but in what the Nazis didn't want anyone to find? Documents, tech, or evidence? What were they really hiding? While some dismissed the gold train as myth, new clues began surfacing elsewhere. Cryptic diaries written by SS officers, maps passed down through families, and rumors of clues hidden inside musical scores. One particularly bizarre theory speaks of Tears of the Wolf, diamonds buried in Austria, with coded instructions supposedly left by Hitler's personal secretary, Martin Bormann. And it didn't stop there. Scuba divers have searched sunken U-boats believed to be fleeing Argentina, possibly carrying stolen treasure. Forests in Bavaria, alpine lakes, abandoned castles. Every year, new expeditions set out, many returning with nothing but mystery. Some, however, do find something: small caches of coin, insignias, jewelry, even crates of looted wine. Never the jackpot, but always just enough to keep the legend alive. And that legend has consequences. Billions of dollars in stolen Nazi wealth made its way into Swiss and Portuguese banks during the war. Some of it was recovered after the war. Some still lie untouched in quiet vaults. Other portions were melted down. Dental fillings and rings from victims blended with bullion and sold on. Efforts to trace and return this wealth continue to this day, though many of the original victims and their families never saw justice. And what of the art? Many masterpieces are still missing. Some are likely in private collections, others possibly destroyed. But the search continues, with lawsuits, museum audits, and investigators tracking brushstrokes like fingerprints. Because behind all this, the gold, the paintings, the stories, lies a deeper truth. The Nazi regime not only sought to conquer the world, but to possess it, its culture, its wealth, its very soul. And in the chaos of their downfall, they buried that hunger, literally. So what remains hidden? Is the greatest Nazi treasure still out there, waiting to be found? Now it's your turn. Do you think Hitler's greatest treasure is still hidden somewhere out there? Or was it all a smokescreen, meant to distract the world while the real prize slipped away unnoticed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story made you rethink what you thought you knew about history, subscribe for more stories that dive beneath the surface of truth, myth, and mystery.